Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Just a reminder, these videos here on all things Social Security are informal, off the cuff, in the middle of a workday, and are not generally pre-prepared. They are literally what we are dealing with every day in the trenches, in real time with the clients. And the issues that affect our clients, we expect probably affect many of you out there. And that's the whole purpose of this channel. So I hope it helps some of you, and I hope you have a great day. Enjoy the video. Bye now. Hey, y'all. I have a kind of a quick reminder. I see people forget to do this oftentimes or think they shouldn't. And it happened to come up today. I was preparing an application, and within the application process online, after the first part is completed and you've submitted the technical application, the second mandatory part comes into play, and that's where you put in all of your medical provider information in the very format that they wish it to be. In any event, so we already collect this data from my clients. It's all collected in kind of an organized fashion, not just the data that would be for the application, but also the data that would be needed to assist the client later in some report preparation that will be demanded by the SSA, namely the work history report and the function report. And in my data gathering packet for the application specifically, I asked for more than what is actually in the application, because some additional questions really can drive home some information that would not otherwise be received by the SSA. So if I get this additional information that's relevant, I can then include it in my application. Whereas if I just went by the SSA questions on the application, I wouldn't be including it because it's not specifically asked for, and you might otherwise not know to do it. In any event, so I'm looking at the part 2 of the application where we put in the medical providers and all that detail. And I had noted that there was an area where prescriptions are entered on the data packet, which is similar to what the paper application would be like, or the 3368. And there was something about a prescription for dermatology, and with a provider's name that I didn't see in any of the pages for medical providers. So obviously I inquired of the client, and it's not unusual for someone to think, well, it's dermatology. My problem is schizophrenia, or, or bad back or whatever, not my skin. And that might be absolutely true. However, when we ask for all the providers, it's for a reason. You would be surprised what all comes out in those other records that are minutia in terms of what that provider is treating you for, but goes towards certain elements later on you might not recognize are helpful to a case. They create some of the crumbs that I refer to strengthen a case. For instance, let's say in that dermatology record, the doctor notes that you complained about back pain. It could be that you experienced a little in the office, or only that you put it in your intake as being symptoms that you regularly struggle with or are that day, depending. This can be really helpful because sometimes there is a big gap in treatment, a few months, where there is no indication because the person hasn't been going anywhere, and or if they have, the poor provider at that office doesn't record things as well as they should. So there would be a lacking of back complaints. And now there is a gap that a fact finder might have a problem with. God, 6 months and there's no discussion about this back. And suddenly, well, there you have the dermatology records and there's a little discussion about the back. The same would be true with, say, gynecology records. It's not always going to be the case, but I would say it's probably a third of the cases, if not, yeah, probably even far more than that. It can be a little innocuous thing, and you don't know if that little thing is going to be necessary later. So don't leave anything out, in my opinion. I require, if you can call it that, my clients to provide me all that information. Sometimes they don't read the fine print and they don't, which this person did not. It was I think there were two areas that the person just felt, well, that wouldn't have anything to do with my disability, so I'm not going to bother filling out a info page on that. Big mistake. Big mistake. It is those things that can get a case that is on one side of the fence or hanging on an edge to be tipped over. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There can be other things too. Sometimes it might be, they often take your blood pressure at other doctor's appointments, and it could show that your blood pressure is riding high. Maybe not high enough where that doctor says, oh, you got to go to the ER right now. But it could be showing, there's things that can be shown that you don't realize because you're not in this field, but they can do assistance with the threading of the needle to make all the points that need to be made and to be shown. I mean, if you think about it, there is a ton of information in medical records. I mean, we get thousands of pages on a case. And we have to find the 0.01% that shows what we're trying to show, right? A lot of the stuff is redundant and not necessary. But sometimes those little things are what, depending on what the case ends up being at the end, can be some of the crumbs that tip it over. So in my opinion, and other professionals may reasonably differ, I think it's every provider you currently have, or within that realm of the disability period that we're talking about, and possibly even like a couple years before. So give that some thought when if you're pro se, doing your own pro se application. Don't feel like you are not the fact finder. So don't try to make up the facts and put in what you think. Give them everything. And certainly if you have an attorney, let them know and they can tell you if they don't care to include it. But I like to see everything. I think it makes for stronger cases and results in a greater win rate. So, alrighty, don't leave out those innocuous seeming providers that you go to, is the bottom line. All right. When we say provide everything, we mean it, provide everything. All right. Bye, guys. I'm back again. Just super quick. If you haven't checked out the join button with the memberships that are being offered, consider doing it. A lot of people who seek very brief interaction clarifications personally on their own matters are able to use it at a very affordable membership rate, where they wouldn't normally be able to get a consultation for, in their eyesights. And then there's other benefits as well, but it's a three-tiered membership, and you might just find that you could use it. I'm hoping it's benefits of value. I'll talk to you later. Bye.